from what we can see, how I interpret it is that he was telling his teammates to get away from him.
Boniface.
But it's not just Boniface. Like there were multiple teammates on that walk down. I assume he was going to the dressing room, and Boniface was one of them. Just like, come on your hand.
Fancy me, Joe.
no talent. But as a professional footballer, you should not publicly appear to be blaming your teammates for a result. Even if you feel, I'm not saying you can't feel it, because at the end of the day, it's a human being. You can feel like, guy, they come out to me, they bring you, they can't score. After, if they talk now, you can feel like that. Nigeria picked up 4 points from a possible 6. World Cup qualification is hanging by a thread. The players are frustrated, the manager is frustrated, the country is frustrated, and most importantly, the set is frustrated. Ayoola Kelechi, Izu, myself, Tunde Young, Faruq, and Joba Ogunwale bring you episode 7 of the Only Football Podcast. Are you guys feeling happy enough to clap, or should we just move on?
Just move on. Just clap.
Two claps. 4 over 6 is pass.
It's really not.
I can tell we'll finish with strong 2-2.
7th episode already. That's nice.
Yeah. So, episode 7, we made it. But speaking of not making it. The Super Eagles of Nigeria, let's do it again. And it looks like we're about to do it again, which is not qualified for the World Cup for the second edition in a row. Am I being pessimistic for saying that? First of all, thoughts, opinions, reactions, analysis to the Zimbabwe game. Nigeria won, Zimbabwe won. What was going through your mind?
Well, I've seen a lot of people blame Eric Schell, and really, I don't think he should be given the bulk of the blame, because when you look at the missed chances, when you look at the nature of the goal that was considered, it seems more on the line of individual errors. So it would be a bit harsh to judge him as a bad manager based on this result. I think the only thing that shocked me was the late substitution of the talented player into the team when it was.
Because the day stops being talented now.
Apparently.
If you fight for your right to remain talented, then you should not be tired of it.
So it was a bit shocking to see a like-for-like attacking change at 1-0 up that late in the game. And unfortunately, what came after really put the spotlight on that change. But other than that, I don't think we can really say, he did a bad job in that game.
All right, so you say you're not blaming, but you did a good job of blaming it. So let us do that. Let's do Nigeria's second most favorite activity, which is pointing fingers, right behind, complaining about the economy. Who is at fault for this result? Eric Schell has shared a part of the blame. The players have been blamed. The players -1, by the way, we'll get to that. The players have been blamed. The atmosphere, even supporters club collects. Do you know how bad it is? Now, if people are like, you know what, supporters club?
you guys are.
How about some new music? Which one is every single game? Are we not tired? Who are we choosing to blame for this? Let me Joba, you are quite the pessimist, so go ahead.
First of all, I'm just thinking about media accreditation for next year's World Cup. I mean, if you have hopes of going to the World Cup next year as a media, as a journalist, I think you'll definitely be disappointed with what you saw on Tuesday. But if I'm going to lay blame on someone, I think the NFF should take the blame, major bulk of the blame, because you look at it, we've played 6 games in these qualifiers and we've had
3 managers.
3 managers. We started with Ose Pesero
For the first 2 games.
For the first 2 games. Then we went with Finidi George. And then
for the most important 2 games. Nigeria and South Africa.
Yeah, and then we also went with Eric Shell. I think in between that period also, Eguavon also, AFCON qualifiers. So you look at it, I mean, that's enough to like destabilize the whole team, because each coach is coming in with his ideas and all that. So that's enough to destabilize the whole team, the players and all that. So I think the NFF did a bad job of not settling on which coach they want to stick with, because I mean, even before Pesero led the first 2 games, there were speculations on, is he going to stay, is he not going to stay, and all that. So I think this is something. And remember, then they could have appointed Eric Shell then, but for whatever reason, I think the backlash from Nigerians, because they don't want another African manager to manage the Super.
I don't even remember any backlash.
The Super Eagles. I mean, there were some backlash from some journalists, from journalists, why would a Malian lead the Super Eagles, the great Super Eagles of Nigeria? So I think
Stay council.
I think if you look at it that way, if you look at it critically, you probably say, I think if they've arrived at just Eric Shell in June 2023, I don't think we would have found ourselves in this mess.
Is there something tells me you have a different candidate for the blame game? And does he have 2 Christian names? Perhaps Moses Simon.
Well, Ayoola said something that the coach would not do this. I'm sure when we were hailing the coach for the game against Rwanda, he was the one who told Osimhen to score that goal. The
Speak into your mic.
And I'm sure he was the one who told Osimhen to score. He was the one who told Osimhen and Ademola Lookman, oh yeah, bend it, find each other. And then the goal Osimhen scored against Zimbabwe. I'm sure it was Shell too. That, so at the end of the day, you notice that all this thing that the coach cannot do, he didn't tell this person, bro, the coach should take what he should take, the blame he should take. I think it's going to go round. He earns his money as well. So in terms of excuses or who to blame, they all have blames, and for me, I would always call out the coaches, because he came out to say something that I choose the tactics, they should go and play it, right? And then Lookman 10, Ola Aina left back, Bruno on the bench.
Chukwu is a midfield.
So he decided,
Chukwu is on the pitch at all.
he decided to twist all this. I mean, we already find ourselves, you do not have time, and then you decided to complicate issues, and then we have this kind of, even the game against Rwanda, we all said it here that we didn't understand some of these things. So Shell has to take the blame for me, because if this was a Nigerian, nobody will be calling NFF now. All you will be hearing that you have no tactics, you have no tactics, you have no tactics, you don't have no tactics. So for me, I think the coach should take the blame. He chose the tactics, and right now he came out to say maybe Lookman, for example, playing 10. I don't think I've seen Lookman play 10 anywhere.
I don't even mind it, but let Moses Simon not be the striker while Lookman is playing 10.
I mean, we call up 3 or 4 centre forwards, Arokodare,
Yeah, but
Boniface.
for that specific role, I don't think there is anyone that could have played that Moses Simon role,
Not
because
even Boniface.
there
I
were-
mean, he's
That's
mobile,
Lookman's
you know?
actual position.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
Lookman's
yeah.
striker.
What I'm saying is that, like, because he wanted Lookman as 10,
As the 10.
Simon is the next best option. Boniface has had his chances many times in the Super Eagles jersey, and I mean, he has been disappointing. So you can't trust
Less than disappointing, if you
Boniface.
ask me. But Faruq, we have one blame for the NFF, we have one blame for the coach. Please be creative.
Somebody to blame.
Blame Tunde. He did not support Nigeria. That's why we lost. That's why
I
we
mean,
drew.
they did say the media are the ones bringing bad vibes in the team. And distraction. Yeah, distraction. We are writing what they did not do. Yeah, so there's enough blame to go around. And genuinely, like Izu said, the bulk of it has to fall on the coach. There are things that you could point out that there were evident flaws in a setup. Yeah, I get that he's still workshopping it. We mentioned during the first episode, and I remember people in the comment section are saying he won the game. So why are you pointing this out? I mean, the reason you point them out is because you're analyzing for future occurrences because you've seen patterns and you know what it could lead to. Yeah, like something very obvious yesterday was how much Shell wanted to commit bodies forward. And maybe I wouldn't say it's a lack of disrespect for Zimbabwe. It just seems that is the way he decides he wants to play his football. Because if you are starting Moses Simon, you are starting Chukwueze, there is a clear idea you want to commit so much bodies forward. There was a point in the game when Trustekong and Bassi were on the halfway line. We showed how much he wanted to foray forward. And this meant that without the defensive organization, let me use an example of it's like playing as a flicks system without the defensive discipline of the high line. And every time Zimbabwe counter-attacked, they had the chance to score Nigeria. Like they got in behind.
They created chances way too easy.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that we dominated the game possession-wise, but if Zimbabwe had that many chances, they had chances, even better chances than their equalizer, at least two that they should have scored.
Yeah.
So yeah, that goes to show that there is something wrong systematically. Also, offensively, when your worst players are getting the ball in the best positions, that's
Call name, please. Attach a name to that bullet.
I feel like there are two names you want to attach.
Let me help him. Moses Simon.
Wow.
Yes, because for me, see,
I feel like it's even more Samuel Chukwueze than even Moses Simon.
see, that's why I'm saying that Samuel Chukwueze, for example, that's why I'm calling out the coach. Why? I'm not. I mean, when you call out the coach, you're not saying sack the coach. You are saying for this particular game there is an issue. So Mr. Shell watched Chukwueze from against Rwanda. And after watching that game, decided, oh, you were so fantastic. Let me reward you with another start against Zimbabwe. And then Simon, for me, I always call him Mr. Reliable, right? Because for a very long time, he has been one guy that if we want a goal, it will come from him. Do you get? But this particular game, for me, there was nothing reliable about Moses Simon. And I don't really blame him so much because he kept trying. But you as a coach, when you see that things are not... This was what we did at the Nations Cup.
Clearly not his day.
Yes, this was what we did at the Nations Cup. It was quite clear that Ola Aina was not himself. And the coach allowed him for the whole minutes. So that's my own issue now. So we allowed Moses Simon to continue without changing something in that play. He played 90 minutes. Wow.
More than it not being Moses Simon's day, I feel like we are judging a fish by his ability to climb a tree instead of his ability to swim. No, I'm being honest. The position, just like Tunde said, the position where Simon and this position he was being tasked to occupy, that is the ideal position for Lookman, because Simon was not just asked to hold width because there's Olaino there. He was not just asked to hold width. He was asked to occupy the half spaces. And then Lookman was delivering balls to him that needed a player that wants to shoot first. Yeah, a player like Lookman that wants to shoot
that can utilize those
Moses Simon's inclination is how to create chances. So he opens his body up to cross balls that he should be bending his body, open his body up to shoot for.
And sometimes you even dribble when you can.
Exactly. Just like I mentioned in the previous episode, it goes to the coach's rigidity, how he wants to play a certain way and whether the personnel fit or not. Because you want to play Lookman as the 10, now you have to play a Moses Simon that is not ideal for the second striker position, wide second striker position. You are playing him there, and then Chukwueze has to play. Everything is just all messed up.
You know who would have been a perfect second striker, and this is to Izu's points in the previous episodes. Josh Maja would have been fantastic.
You didn't invite him.
Joba Akawor,
yes.
Joba Akawor.
I think that sounds...
That is more of a traditional centre forward. But so I'm looking at someone that goes well with Osimhen while Lookman.
But today, let me ask you something. You watch Lookman, right? In Atlanta, where he plays as in the front two. You watch Moses Simon. You know what Moses Simon does. He's not really a central guy. Yeah. Lookman is like a central guy that drifts. And you decided like, oh, okay, Simon, play there. The same place where Lukman play to become African best. You decided to let him play there, and then you asked Lukman to play behind him. See, let me not catch Mr. Shell.
Ayoola, do you have
God
the same
damn.
animosity for Mr. Shell, or you have a different target in mind?
No, I think it really goes round because at the end of the day, the players are professionals. I mean, if someone like Moses Simon is not able to put away chances, he's still a forward. He scored second most goals for Nantes this season. Yeah, it's the fact. He's still the second most goals for Nantes.
That's where he plays
And
most
that's
of
where
his
he
football.
plays. What he wants him to do.
To Ayola's point also, I mean, you could say, yeah, tactically wise and all that. But here's the thing. We've had Pesero. We've had Finidi George. Finidi George played a system that actually suits the personnel
Each and
that you're
every
talking
one, yeah.
about. And we failed to beat Benin Republic and we failed to beat South Africa. So sometimes, I mean, probably you will have to start calling out the players. Probably maybe we should just admit that we are not just as good as we think.
Who did
That's-
Benin play you with?
That's just the truth.
That's what makes it difficult. That's what makes it difficult to admit that our players are not as good as we think. Because it's not like we are talking about winning the World Cup here. In Africa, our players should still get the job done.
Well,
Like,
maybe,
our
then,
players are
then maybe
definitely
it's,
better
maybe
than
it's
Zimbabwe
not
players.
maybe it's
we
not
are not just as good as we
maybe it's
think.
not a quality problem. Then it might also be
Zimbabwe played us with somebody named Knowledge.
it might also be an
I don't understand.
The guy that scored was Stamina Chirema. He plays for Huddersfield Town in the championship. That's EFL League One.
yeah.
that's
But
the
what I'm
thing.
saying is it's not always
And then you
a
have
thing of
Boniface and
ability.
you are telling me he's not good enough.
Ayoola, go ahead.
It might not just be a thing of ability, it's also a thing of application and mentality.
I also think the squad is imbalanced, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
And that goes to the tactical side of it, the systematic side of it. And whose fault is that? The person that decided to call. The
If
players
he
he
decided
called
to call them.
We've had. I feel like we're starting to go around the circle. So
remember that I said, I mean, Guavon
He has
is
denied it. He has denied it.
Of course, it's going
He
to
has
deny it.
denied
It's
it.
going to deny it.
Okay,
Come on.
let's move on because we're moving around the circles a little bit here. And still on the game, there's a viral video. Credit to Puja, which I'm guessing is on the screen right now, where Victor Osimhen was visibly distraught. Let us put it that way, distraught as he left the pitch after the game, and I don't understand the context, but from what we can see, how I interpret it is that he was telling his teammates to get away from him.
Boniface.
But it's not
not just
Boniface.
him.
Like there were multiple teammates
Yeah.
on that walk down. I assume he was going to the dressing room, and Boniface was one of them. He just like, come on your hand.
Fancy me, Joe.
No talent. but like, and lots of people have been praising that video. I've seen lots of reactions to it. To be fair, there are divisions on both sides. Some people are on the side of he was
Osimhen.
let down. That's the appropriate reaction. He's only human. All the things we say for celebrities that we like. And like me, I assume I'm on the side of reason, which is that as a professional footballer, you should not publicly appear to be blaming your teammates for a result. Even if you feel, I'm not saying you can't feel it, because at the end of the day, it's a human being. You can feel like, guy, they come out to me, they bring you, they can't score. After, if they talk now, you can feel like that. But you shouldn't react like that publicly. And I said this on Twitter, and people had contrasting opinions, which was crazy to me. Does everybody agree or disagree with True?
Honestly, I understand him. I mean, I understand why he's angry. I mean, he's probably not going to play a World Cup game in his career. So I can understand that. And also, if you look at it, you probably say that like he's the one who like sheer ability, like willing to like give his all. Like you could see it in his emotion, you could see it in his in his drive, in his spirit, especially when he's on the pitch. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that out of 6 games, we've won 1 game. That 1 game that we won, Osimhen was the lone goal scorer. So I can understand. And also, I mean, again, he's human also. You also need to understand that, like, you give your all and then probably maybe you concede a cheap goal, a late goal in the 90th minute. If it was Ronaldo, we wouldn't be saying
that's
we
what
would
first of
do.
all, I want to correct something a little bit here. Osimhen is passionate. Yes, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He shows his passion. He's dedicated. Nobody can take that away from him. But what I don't want us to do is to say he's the most there's no way to measure that. People display passion and dedication in different ways.
Wow.
Second, let me use Second for example. Second is a more reserved guy. He's not because he didn't sell gala in traffic.
Well, if ever said that, I was I'm not catching.
It is just a fact. It is just the point is that people express passion, emotion, desire in different ways. I think it is unfair to the rest of the 22 guys in the squad to assume that Osimhen is more passionate or that they let Osimhen down, because you talk down, you say Osimhen will probably not go to a World Cup, which is unfair to him. But it's also the other guys. It's not like they are leaving Osimhen at home and going. Like, if anybody was let down, it's the country. Or do you disagree? I don't think it's Osimhen was let down. The country was let down. Why are we making it an Osimhen thing?
Well, the thing is, I think for starters, right? I'm always someone who is big on people understanding and the other. When Osimhen came, he came in and he was with the teammate at first, and then at some point, he had to stand up to leave. Boniface followed him. The first time he called Boniface bluff, I think that was the moment Boniface should have left him. You know what? Boniface kept pushing, and at times, you remember when we were small, where they beat you and. At that point,
this I cannot remember. It's too old.
they beat you, and at that point, you don't want to cry, and then somebody that nobody sent will come and say, "Don't cry." At that moment, the team would that was what happened, right? So, but Osimhen said, "Leave me," instead of Boniface to just let him, But for me, in terms of the reaction, I think everyone reacts differently. Osimhen, whether it's pre-game or during the game or after the game, that is who he is. He would always, be gingered that way, and obviously very disappointed. Joba mentioned something, that it is not coincidence that the game we won, Osimhen was a guy. I dare say that perhaps if the other coaches had Osimhen, they probably would have won at least a game, because Osimhen has only played 2 of the 6 games for us. And those 2 games were under shell. So he didn't play for Pesero. He didn't play for Finidi George. Obviously, that means...
For obvious reasons.
Every other... Okay, even Pesero too now. But the point is that every other person played. And we had to wait for the guy who did not play to come back and score 3 goals in 2 matches for us to have 4 points from 2 games, So I think that's why a lot of people believe that. So it's not just because Osimhen shows that. It's just that he matches most times his actions with performance on the pitch. So he puts his all, he fights for every ball, he does every single thing, and that is why people believe that he's a passionate guy. And of course you can see that for some of them, and look at it, Nigeria started bashing those who went to Snapchat to start posting things. Why? Because on the pitch there, he looked really pained, cried, and because of the result, knowing what the implications are. And then you have other people who were not so, maybe should I say, who did not have to cry or act.
Or who don't wear their heart on their sleeves.
Yes,
like
yes.
Because even the guys that are talking about that posted on Snapchat, they were posting words of encouragement, like I won't be, and I know that.
Yeah,
guys will still qualify.
But like you said, everybody reacts differently, So I don't think I have a negative thing to say about that. You could say that maybe he shouldn't have. I don't think he was blaming his teammate, but at that moment,
that's what it looked like, though.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like.
At that moment,
and that's how people are people that are supporting. That's how people are interpreting.
Like I said, I just feel at that moment he wanted to go into the dressing room and somebody was.
He looked more
I
like.
think the thing with the Snapchat guys is that there's already a perception of them that these guys are not taking this as seriously as they should.
Just call them the Snapchat guys.
But that's what they call them, Snapchat FC, for real. So there's already a perception that these guys don't take these things as serious as they should. Even during the match, some of the comments that you could see when Nigeria considered was, oh, these guys are now going to go and post on Snapchat again. And so when they did post on Snapchat, even though it was words of encouragement and stuff like that, people were already waiting for them to bash them based on their posts. So I think that's
and even if they didn't post, I'm sure people will still
definitely.
No Snapchat post today.
Exactly.
To be honest, I actually do not feel sorry for them.
I know Joba is one of the people that think they're not
I
serious.
don't feel sorry for them because what were you expecting? I mean, you had the chance to do your talking on the pitch, and when I look at,
But you can argue that they did. Ola not set up the goal. Iwobi was probably man of the match.
Basi was good as well.
Here's the thing. I mean, you are in no place to say, yeah, we will still qualify when you played 6 games, you won 1, you drew 3, and you lost 1. Just keep short and go back to your club. Let's forget about it. Focus on let's focus on whatever games.
Speaking of focus, let us address the elephant in the room. First of all, can we still qualify? Because Faruq, you can either choose to speak as an optimist or as an analyst. Can Nigeria still qualify for the World Cup?
I mean, it's looking bleak right now, but it's not. If we win all our games and South Africa, it's not that we do. If we win all our games and South Africa gets,
just explain what you wrote in the article.
Never start a podcast for us. It doesn't end well.
If we win all our games and South Africa gets a point deduction, we do not need help from any other person.
Speaking of the point deduction, let's get to the last story real quick. So, in true Nigerian fashion, we add more to celebrate instead of our actual game. We were celebrating the possibility of South Africa losing 3 points because they reportedly fielded an ineligible player in game week 4. Against Lesotho. That's what's his name?
Mokwena.
The number 4 guy.
Yeah, so the one that scored against us at the AFCON. Great player. Mamelodi Sundowns. With that in mind, let's even say they get docked 3 points. We are still 6 points behind them. That would make us 3 points behind them.
3 points.
That would mean we absolutely have to win every single game, including away at South Africa. Can it be done around the room before we move on?
Limau.
I mean, he can. I definitely think he can.
If the question can it be done? Of course, it can be done. Almost anything can be done.
Let me because since everybody started to get semantic, I act like we cannot speak English again. When you watch the team play 6 games, win 1, draw 4, then I say, of course it can be done. I'm asking the context of the Super Eagles.
I don't know how they are going to do it. I don't know how they are going to do it because we know that somebody will still play. I know at left back. This team. The where we find ourselves now is where you have to say the truth. Because if this were to be clubs, we won't be saying some of these things. You have I know things can change
unless we're Arsenal fans.
Football. Yes, I said I know things can change rapidly in football, but like you said, 1 win in 6. We can also say 4 points from 6 under Shell. So maybe because it is Eric Shell, it is possible we'll pick up more points. But we are also saying we don't have players. We don't want to hold Shell's neck. But we say we don't have players, So if we believe that we don't have players and we are looking at the way we've followed up this also, what if we don't have Osimhen in the next game? Because it's possible. If there's one person that it's possible we might not have the next time we play the qualifiers, it's Osimhen. And in his absence,
why won't we have him?
I mean, the same reasons why he didn't play the other 4 can be the same reason why he will not play the next one.
I think his injury record is
his injury record.
I think his personal reporter has not tweeted it yet, so we'll find out about that.
His injury record means that it's possible. But what I'm saying is, we have shown that one particular trend. We have shown that if we have Osimhen, we can score. If we don't have him, there's a problem. Do you understand? So it all depends on what we can do.
Okay,
with,
so Ayoola,
let them
what?
shock me. They are not going anywhere.
Okay, last time I said that. Ayoola, what does the pathway to the World Cup look like for Nigeria?
4 wins from 4, and a lot of help from God, as usual, which is what we usually
If we
do.
win those 4 games, we don't need help. Just win your.
That's assuming South Africa
That's
gets a
assuming
point
South Africa
deduction.
get docked.
Yeah, I mean, I believe 19 points should be enough to get second best.
Have you
don't
seen?
think so.
Do you know how many matches we're going to have to play if we finish that second best?
All right, let us go run through the list of second place teams in every group right now.
We
Group
cannot
A,
make it.
Group A, Burkina Faso 11 points. Group B, Senegal 12 points. Rwanda in our own group 8 points. Cameroon 12 points. Group E, Niger 6 points. 2 twins. Gabon in Group F 15 points.
No, those sounds.
Mozambique 12
Sounds
points.
like them.
And,
Mozambique.
Namibia 12 points.
We can never make
Madagascar.
it.
And so this Comoros 12 points. Comoros has 12 points in World Cup qualifying.
It has to get to a point where NFF will look at. CAF will look at this thing and say, "Do we really want Comoros representing us?"
Let them go and
They don't have a choice. I mean, if they are getting enough points to do it.
Only four of
Let
them.
them go and play
What
3
happened?
games.
What happened to the corruption?
Only
we're
four.
known
They
for? I
cannot
don't
make
get
it. They cannot make it.
I
Don't worry.
They will make it.
They cannot make it. Only 4 of the second place teams, of the 9 second place
Are
teams,
going to move on.
will advance to the knockouts, and they will play for, the other people that fail to qualify directly in other continents as well. So you play about 5 to 6 games.
Yeah.
So you have to first be part of those 4 first, which is looking unlikely that we are going to, because the worst of those 4 right now is Namibia with 12 points, and we have 7 points. So like that's
Maybe I not go win again. Jim.
that's you are serious. Anyway, please,
We've dropped 11 points.
Joba,
we have to-
Joba,
we have to
realistically,
top the group.
can we do yes or no before we move on?
If FIFA docks 3 points, like Lesotho FA has sent an official query to FIFA, so we are still waiting. You're still waiting on, and I think South Africa has also admitted, not officially, because Mokona didn't play against Benin Republic. So if FIFA decides to remove 3 points, yes, it's possible. However, the game I'm worried about most is not even the one against South Africa. It's actually Benin Republic at home.
General.
Yeah, exactly.
General
carry that beef.
General does not have to go to the World Cup. We just that you too, you will not go. None of us go at home. Anyway, moving swiftly along, we wish the Super Eagles best of luck, of course. I just want to say one thing real quick, is that for the fans out there, I'm sure everybody's frustrated and I know it, but I also choose to believe that no matter how badly you want to go to the World Cup, you cannot want it more than the players. It's just not possible. I don't think you want to go to the World Cup more than Boniface wants to go to the World Cup. It's not possible.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Is very unlikely.
Are you sure? We know a lot of people who want sponsorship too. Bro, I want it.
All right, let's move on very, very, very quickly. And England, they started well with Thomas Tuchel, but you should start with Latvia and who else did they play?
Albania.
Latvia and Albania are your first 2 opponents. Europe might be worse than Africa in terms of quality of teams.
You mean might?
Like Latvia and Albania.
Will Zimbabwe hold Albania?
That would be
No,
that's a
Albania
game
will
I'll
beat
pay to.
Albania.
That's a
Yeah,
game.
Albania
Zimbabwe.
will-
I'll
Albania
definitely
will load
pick.
Zimbabwe.
I'll definitely pick Zimbabwe ahead of Latvia.
Anyway,
Any day,
we
anytime.
are getting derailed. The point about this topic is Thomas Tuchel is now being charged. In fact, let me not say the Englishman are here, but one person in particular said if you don't win the World Cup with England, he has failed. The standards that were not set for Gareth Southgate. Is it unfair to expect England with their quality right now, Faruq, because we don't have much time, to win the World Cup? Is it unfair?
No, it's not unfair. I mean, that should be the target in the English national team. They've gone to the semi-finals of the World Cup. They've gone to the finals of the Euros twice. So I mean, that is the step up. So they've not won any trophy in several years. They've not won the World Cup since the 60s.
Several
years. So I mean, it gets long. Just in several. So they've not won the World Cup since the 60s. So I don't think, and they are genuinely. I saw a tweet saying that the likes of Belgium have better teams squads than England. I don't like. You get like it's so crap.
In 2025.
I genuinely think only France has a better squad in like a better talent pool to pick players from than England. So
The people that Lewis Kelly started for.
Lewis Kelly is a very
Very good
footballer.
player,
I don't know.
Yeah, he
I
is
don't know
like,
what
but
he
like,
is.
if the talent pool is
Kukurea is
that.
the starting left back for the
No, the
Euros
point is that
winner.
if the talent pool is that big, Lewis Kelly should not be able to break into your team. That's
I mean,
easy.
mean,
Even
he
though he's
should
clearly
play-
a
he
good
should
player.
play
Because
for us now.
He plays. He's a starting player for the
us
second.
now.
He teams second on the Premier League log now. And if he's not playing, there's Lewis Hall, there's Livramento, there's Shaw, there's injured. So it's not like.
So you don't think it's unfair because
No, obviously
but
it's not
where was
unfair.
this energy for Southgate?
I mean,
the energy was there also.
They
for
did not
Southgate.
treat Southgate like a failure
No,
for
the
not
fans,
winning
the
the World Cup.
fans, like
Because
wanted
they-
more.
Southgate is an Englishman.
also you have to
The
judge.
problem
You have
is-
to judge where they are coming from. Like England were in the doldrums before Southgate came. So you have now that Southgate has taken them to point B. Now you need a manager to take them from point B to point A. So that's
That's not the reason.
Alright,
The reason is that Tuchel is not an Englishman, and most of them did not support the appointment, right?
Is it
Southgate is an Englishman, and you know how these people behave. They tend to,
Southgate
carry
was
themselves-
heavily criticized though.
Hold on,
Not like
not
this.
really.
I hate
But
to
you see-
break the phone up,
but you
but
see
thank
this
you,
Tuchel
thank
own-
you.
This Tuchel own is that he's not an Englishman.
Okay.
Thank
So-
you. Are we okay?
No,
We're fine. Move on. Just
Thank you. This is why when I know they go World Cup. Because I know they hear word. Simple instruction.
We're not the ones that feel that ineligible.
You are not
player.
going to the World Cup. Forget that accreditation. You are not going. At all. Now waiting Boniface do you. Let's move on
Let's see, they
to.
never accredit your visa.
Let's move on to the injury time second. We are running out of time. Jermaine Defoe. During the national break. This is how you know it's the national break because you start hearing names you've not heard in a long time. Jermaine
That's
Defoe.
a certified bag.
I beg. Jermaine Defoe claims, well, he didn't claim, he was playing a game of winner stays on, and he chose himself ahead of
Harry Kane.
Mo Salah and Harry Kane. First of all, what type of glue is he smoking? And do we agree or disagree? We have 30 seconds each. Faruq and Izuchukwu.
Faruq and Izuchukwu.
So, 30 seconds. Who wants to go first? Sharp.
I mean, let him.
All right, Izu, you go first since you clearly like talking. So wait,
And you like attacking.
Okay, your time starts now.
Jermaine Defoe, Spurs legend. Well, I'm not surprised. You would always back people to choose themselves. For me, I don't think I would choose Jermaine Defoe over Salah or Harry Kane. There's a reason Harry Kane is England's highest ever scorer. So Jermaine Defoe should just take a back seat. He just wanted to trend actually. So I give him that. Congratulations to him.
Thank you very much. Very concise, very precise. 29 seconds. Let's see if Faruq can beat the time. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't get why people are going in at Jermaine Defoe. He's backing himself, and I don't think it is unreasonable for him to back himself against the likes of Jamie Vardy that he mentioned. Also, for Salah, I did not say he was better than Salah. I said Salah was not a striker, meaning that in the centre forward position, I will go for Jermaine Defoe over Mohamed Salah as a centre forward. No, obviously Salah is the better player by far. Also, for Harry Kane, Harry Kane was his understudy, so you just be like picking where you see when they grow up, and now you cannot just
Please,
you cannot admit to yourself that
It's
he's
okay,
now
it's okay.
as good or
It's
better
okay.
than you.
Ronaldinho and JJ
It's
Abi.
okay.
Eh?
With
Ronaldinho
your-
and JJ Abi.
with your Chiwetelago analysis. Like all those old men, old wicked men say epic movies.
No, I
watch you grow. How can you be better than me?
I
Give him
think
generational
that
curses.
Jermaine Defoe was very
Faruq, thank you.
instrumental to his career in his formative stage.
Thank you. Please. If they give you as a coach, they say start Salah as a striker or start Jermaine
As a
He
Defoe.
already
forward.
said. He
Start-
already
As a
said.
centre
you
forward.
go ahead and start the
Prime Jermaine Defoe.
You'll be shortly
That's a
unemployed.
certified bagsman.
Let's wrap up with the 4 facts. Ayoola. Do you have anything for us?
Yeah, of course.
By the way, did you hear what he said about you last week?
Yeah, he's a hitter. I'm not surprised.
Ayoola, go ahead, please. Don't let
so-
them come between us.
He's already between us. So, you know how everybody always says football money. Once you have football money, you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
But apparently, some players disagree because Barry Town in the Welsh Premier League, their assistant captain, who has captained them 19 times this season, was recently arrested and convicted of dealing cocaine. So while he was playing football, he was also a cocaine dealer on the side. And he was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. And his club had no idea. In fact, his club did not have any idea until after he was sentenced. No.
Wait, did you say Barrytown?
Yeah, Barrytown.
Yeah, like
Sporty.
So if you carry Barrytown in your sport, you just know that they have
first
one
of
player
all,
less.
I think when people talk about football money, they're not just Number two,
I mean, you would assume.
I don't think that this is uncommon because you cannot convince me financially it's not doing this thing. That
Allegedly, please. Allegedly.
Well, I mean, you'll be right because the way Chelsea has not found out is the way Barrytown did not find out until 30 minutes after the guy was sentenced to prison, and then they now said, "Oh, wow, our player has been sentenced to prison."
They just, I don't complaining today.
All right, thank you very much. We've come to you. I brought you another fun episode. Thank you very much for myself, Tunde Young, Ayoola Kelechi, Izuchukwu Akawor, Faruq, and Joba Ogunwale. Right here in the Pole Sports Studio, and everybody out there, and they bring you this production. Please like, share, subscribe, follow, do everything. For wherever you're watching from, you could be watching from prison like the Barrytown captain, or you are watching as a free man. Free chefs. Tell somebody about it. Until we see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.